Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in studio the 3 days ago, 4 days ago, friend of this program who won the United States Open, Matthew Fitzpatrick. And we're going to do something a little differently. Usually we throw interviews in at the end and we go through talking points and whatever the hell we talk about at the beginning. But obviously we got the champ. Came in Tuesday right after he won the U.S. Open with the trophy and the whole deal and the presence and the aura, talking about cross-handed chipping. He goes through some huge shots in his mindset in big moments throughout the entire week. Some fascinating tidbits. We talk about us trying to FaceTime him and whether he saw that or he didn't. He did. And a lot of great stuff with Matthew Fitzpatrick. So we're not it's not lost on us that there's a million things going on in the golf world as well. So we get into debates and chats about LIV and Saudi Arabia and money and the U.S. Open and the PGA Tour and all kinds of things. But we didn't want that to detract from Matthew Fitzpatrick, who is a friend of the program, who's been on a handful of times now, and who just had a life-changing week at the country club. So, boys, we're going to do our couple of quick minutes here at the beginning. We're going to throw it to Matthew Fitzpatrick, and then we're going to bicker amongst ourselves about everything in the world for a few hours.
Yeah, and then also, full disclosure, I'm pretty sure at some point after the interview, my audio is going to change from really good to then internet audio because I got a notification that my audio stopped recording 56 minutes into something that we did after. So that's nice. Coming. That's breaking news. That's coming at some point.
Want to do the whole show over again?
It's going to be a jarring. It's going to be a jarring. Well, there is one point where Trent asked me who won the LIV event that I wish I could take back, and I just didn't know it was Charles Schwartzel. So that's another thing to definitely.
That was a huge moment from Trent.
I couldn't think of Charles Schwartzel's name.
That was just.
Have you ever in your life heard of a more random name than Charles Schwartzel to win?
I don't even think on its own premise it was that bad, but it just came off bad. It was such good timing for Trent. It was great.
It got better after that, but that was a bad moment. So that's coming. Matthew Fitzpatrick walks into Barstool headquarters. We know who Matthew Fitzpatrick is. He's the quiet little English boy that I said I could beat up on the range in the parking lot of Bethpage Black in 2019. That's who Matthew Fitzpatrick was. Going into this interview, we're like, he's just going to continuously be the same guy. He walked in with that fucking U.S. Open trophy, and our lips started to quiver. He's just brought a different aura. He had a whole team around him. His family came with him. His brother, his mom, his dad, everyone. All the people that were crying and hootering and hollering. They roll as a crew. They came to New York City. I saw them after the interview. I congratulated the whole room. Steinberg was in there, just the greatest fucking
I loved your
agent.
Your dap up with Steinberg was incredible, Frankie, because we had a night with Steinberg in Augusta.
We did. I think he actually likes me, which is insane. Like he looks at me like
I think he likes me.
Yeah, I think he likes me. So yeah, Matthew Fitzpatrick walked in. It was quite the scene. He definitely has a different aura around him. He's a champion. He's our champion. He's a major champion. Fucking awesome. We did an amazing picture afterwards. I was just really excited to have this whole thing happen. I fucking love Matty Fitz.
Yeah, I mean, he's a different guy. Like he admits to that. His life has changed now. He is a major champion. And a lot of guys, true or not, will say, no, I'm the same guy. I just won this tournament and now I'm going to continue with my life. He's like, no, I worked my fucking ass off to win this tournament, to have this trophy. So yeah, my life is different now because my name is going to be on that trophy forever and nobody can take that away from me. I think that's really interesting transparency from him.
So let's just hear from him. Matthew Fitzpatrick's in studio. He's on this show. He's now the U.S. Open champion. Let's talk about quickly Priceline, because Priceline, look, vacation is the entire point of life. That's why you go through it all. That's why you slug around. That's why you go to your job. You get in your car. You pay for gas. You do all of it. All of it. Answer emails. You fixing things at the house. Your car breaks down. You go through all that so you can go on vacation. That's pretty much the whole purpose of life. Priceline is an online travel agency for finding discount rates for travel-related purchases such as airline tickets and hotel stays. They just make it incredibly easy to go on vacation, boys, and we all want to just go on vacation all the time.
It's what makes the world go round. We just need to take some time off. And then when you're trying to do that, you already live a stressful life. Everything's happening around you a million miles an hour. You're trying to book a vacation. You got to get a rental car. You got to get a hotel. You got to get a flight. You're like, I'm on all these websites. I don't know what's cheaper than what's more expensive than what. Priceline has just made it so much more easy where you just have everything in one application, one website. It's all right there for you. I've used it. I will be using it in an upcoming trip that I'm taking. I need to get all that stuff, hotel, rental car, the whole thing. Priceline is the way to go. I'm telling you, right? I mean, there's no denying. They're just the name. Like you hear Priceline, you know, oh, it's a huge company. It's like they're just doing something right. Priceline is the way to go.
Priceline.com for the best deals that will help you get the most out of your trip. That's Priceline.com. You can save up to 60% on your favorite hotels. You can also get exclusive deals on rental cars. I actually did that this week because I needed a rental car and flights. When you save more, you can do more. Visit Priceline.com. All right, here is the U.S. Open champion, Matt Fitzpatrick. Folks, we're joined right now, days after winning his first major championship, by a longtime friend of the program, so much so that we would test his skills and his listening capabilities and the truthfulness on if he was listening, and he would all pass. He's been on this show 3 or 4 or 5 times. He, I think, was our first COVID guest, and now he returns in studio. I'm looking at this giant U.S. Open trophy as the United States Open champion, Matthew Fitzpatrick. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
We had this with Scotty a little bit after he won the Masters. Like we've run into you a lot, and you know Frankie infamously said that he could beat you up, and then we had that back and forth at the U.S. Open.
I never hear it either. No one ever mentions it.
Not once, I'm sure. And then like with Scotty, he wins the Masters, and then we have him back on, and it felt a little different. You walked into Barstool HQ with this giant trophy, and I felt like I was starstruck by Matty Fitz. How much has your life changed over the last 48 hours?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, literally since I finished on Sunday, I was doing media till 10:30. Coming to like the player services area, I'm signing stuff and flags and you name it, I was signing it, and yeah, it's just been a whirlwind. It's been crazy.
Do you feel different? First of all, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Okay. Second of all,
We're all
congratulations.
friends here.
Yeah, we are. Do you feel any different?
Yeah, I would say I do. Yeah, I would say I do. It's just like it's 10 million. I've already said it 10 million times better than I thought it would feel. It's truly like incredible. Yeah.
Is it satisfaction? Like all the hard work pays off. I know Rory said that after you won. It's just sort of all that work that you put in, and you have worked as hard as anyone. Is that what the satisfaction comes from?
Yeah, I think so. And just you know, it's there. It's just like so. It's kind of weird. It's just I won a major. You know, I won a major championship, and it's different to I haven't won on the PGA Tour, but I've won DP World Tour tournaments, and they feel great. And the next day you're like, oh yeah, I won, but it's like it goes away. Like this is gonna live with me forever. It doesn't matter what happens. Like I'm a major champion, and that's why it means so much.
Your name's gonna be on that trophy forever.
Yeah, it's
already on there?
on there.
Yeah, I'm sure
it's
it
on
is.
there.
Oh my goodness!
I keep getting as close as I can to touching it.
You can just touch it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, just touch it.
Because I feel.
Yeah, you're fine.
Touch it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's making me uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to, but he said I could, so it feels okay.
I got to say, Fit, I thought, sometimes you see people win a major and they're subdued and it feels like to them they were supposed to win or they've been, but you seemed like the happiest human being for the hours afterwards. Like every presser, every interaction, every hug, it was so endearing because it was like, holy shit, this guy, it felt like we were all living vicariously through you because you were walking around the whole day afterwards with the trophy, just like, I won a major championship, and it was so infectious to see.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's exactly what it felt like. It's like, I feel like for so long that I've, I've come to tournaments and not, like I say, not won over here and see guys win and guys that are my age and achieve so much success. And it like kind of hurt a little bit because it's like I feel like I'm putting in just as much, if not more work than them and not really quite getting the results that I wanted. I want to win. And just having that winning feeling on Sunday, once I realised that I'd won, it was just like nothing else. It was just, yeah, as I said already, it's like 10 million times better than I ever thought it was going to be.
Is there a moment when you've had a few days now. I know it's a whirlwind. You're in New York. You're with these guys. You're with us. Is there a moment when you put your head down on the pillow that you think back to from the championship? That's one moment you keep going back to?
Put on 13. Yeah, just no doubt about it. Put on 13. That I actually saw Trent miss because he was going for? Because I would go for those as well. The cannolis?
Cheesecake.
Yeah, I would
We got both, but the
which
reason
is
was, and you and I DM'd a little bit afterwards, and I had said congratulations, and you said thank you for being the only person at Barstool.
Yes,
for you,
I did. Yeah,
which is
yeah.
you know, in terms of in terms of wagers, that's true. And
Gambling puts us in a bad spot. Gambling puts us in weird places, man.
Listen, for my money, I thought Scotty Scheffler was the best bet. I like you both very much, and you shoved it in my face yet again.
And I saw it going a different while the round was happening. Something happened. Scotty made a putt, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm bummed out. I want some cheesecake because I got Matty Fitz, and who knows what's going to happen."
Dude, it was like a cartoon. Like when you can see the smell go through the room. Something hit Trent, and like his nose started like floating towards Carlo's bakery shop.
So I get the cheesecake. I walk down there, and I walk back to the bar that we're watching at. As soon as I get back with the cheesecake, you make that putt on 13th. So it's like the cheesecake. I mean, you deserve the lion's share of the credit, but I think a little bit might have to go to the cheesecake.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine with that. I love cheesecake too. So, but yeah, the putt on 13 was kind of just bogeying 10 and 11 kind of set me back, and 13 was kind of just kickstart the rest of the round, and from there, as soon as I just felt like I needed something, and to be fair, even though it was 50 feet, I fancied the putt for whatever reason. Sometimes you just see the putt, and I'm just like, I really think I can make this one. So it's pretty crazy.
So I mentioned Scotty, and going into that round, we had a discussion. I was like, how do you think Matty and Will feel right now? Knowing it was one of the best leaderboards we've ever seen in a major, for sure, in recent times. We're looking at this thing. All the names are incredible. Like, how are you feeling knowing that kind of talent is behind you, or are you not even thinking about it?
No, I mean, I'll be honest, before I started the day, there's certain names you keep your eye on. For me, I was expecting Rory's name to jump out, like get off to a hot start, and I kind of expected him to be up there. John Rahm was the other one. You just got to keep an eye. I wanted to keep an eye on where he was, and I kind of saw that. Then as we get to 2 or 3, you see Scotty's flying through 6. And the same deal. Like, I like to kind of know what's going on. I like to kind of figure out what I need to do, what I don't need to do. So that was like quite interesting when it was by the back 9. Really, it was like a 3-horse race between me, Will, and Scotty. But sort of for me, like I say, I just keep my eye on certain players where you think they could come through, and but I just tried my best to concentrate on my own game and play each hole at a time. And I said to Billy before I teed off, like, just try and hit 18 greens in regulation, and that'll give me more than a good chance. So
I have to. Was that in terms of ball striking, tee to green? Do you think that was the best round of golf you've ever had?
Ever, yeah. I said to Billy before Will putted, I said, regardless of what happens, I would say that's the best round of golf I've ever played. Wow. Tee to green, it was like,
I just got the chills.
Yeah, I mean, I missed the fairway by a yard on 3. Obviously got lucky on 15 and got lucky on 18. But other than that, missed 2 fairways all day and 1 green. So that's as good as it gets.
How nice is that to learn about yourself, where you have to pretty much play the best round of your life to win this major, and then you do it?
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing as well. It wasn't like gifted to me. It's like, I started with the lead, I slept on it, and I just went out there and won. That's why I think it means even more, because I literally went and did it for myself.
Yeah, it was because after the bogey on 10, the bogey on 11, and there's a 2-shot swing, and I remember thinking, like, man, I still feel like Fitz has to feel incredibly confident, because I was going back over the last 5, 6, 7 holes, and it was like on 8, you striped one in there to like 20 feet for eagle, and I was going back through every hole being like, dude, he almost hasn't missed a golf shot the whole time. Like, if he keeps this up down the stretch, everybody else is, when guys jump to the top, it becomes tougher, and you clearly had the experience from the PGA where you had learned a lot, because it wasn't like you were coming out hitting it the way you were on Sunday at the PGA. You had clearly learned something. So, like, I guess my question is, like, did you, even after a couple bogeys and giving up the lead and going back, 2 strokes, were you still thinking in your head, like, no, I'm playing the best golf, I'm going to win this tournament?
I still think I had a chance. Yeah, I was still thinking I had a chance for sure. I thought I was an idiot for making it harder on myself. There's no doubt about that. But when I think back to the round, I wasn't at all angry about how I'd played tee to green, which I think previous rounds where maybe I've not played as well, I could think, oh, well, I've hit that shot there and I could hit this shot, and I've pushed it or I've pulled it. Whereas that day, Sunday, I was just like, okay, next hole, I'm, same plan, middle of the green, and try and make a putt, and literally, did it for 17 holes. So,
on 18, you've got 1-stroke lead. You pull it overcook it, whatever, a little bit left. You walk it up, second shot's in the bunker. Walk us through kind of your entire experience from walking up, seeing the ball, and everything that happened.
Yeah, so me and Billy had a big conversation on the Wednesday. It's something I'd never ever done before in a practice round. We played the hole, and we were in between driver and 3-wood. I really liked driver, he liked 3-wood. Played the hole, and I said, Billy, let's go back and hit balls. So I took my driver and 3-wood and walked back all the way back to the tee and hit 4 balls. I hit 2 3-woods and 2 drivers. The 2 drivers, one was in the rough but quite far up. The other one was miles up in the fairway. And then I hit 3-wood left in the rough and 3-wood in the fairway. So I was like, well, this didn't really help other than drivers miles up there. And if I hit it out of position, I've got much less club in. So I was like, driver, we're going with driver. So anyway, Sunday we get to the tee. And I'd hit driver 3 times, made bogey 2 out of 3 times. And he was like, I think you should hit 3-wood. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll buy in. Like I was fully bought in. Like I trusted that was the right club. Hit it, went left. Deep down in me, I'm like, you're an idiot. Why did you not just hit driver? But then I was like, no, you committed to that, and I did. I committed to that shot, just hit the shot, and I said I'm like praying for it to be short of the bunker, because fairway bunkers I've been shocking this year out of them. And I get up there and it's in the bunker, and I see the lie, and I'm like, oh, actually, it's okay. The lie's not bad. It's kind of sat up. And then Billy's like, we're like looking at the line, and I was like, well, I've got a line to the green, and there's not much of a lip in front of me. I've just got to go left. If I hit it dead straight, it's going to catch a piece of the green. If I pull it, it'll be in the left bunker, so I've got room to get up and down. And yeah, I'll be honest, I just hit this thing, and it came out with like a 10-yard fade, and I was like, oh my god, that's unreal. Like I was honestly I was like, I said last night at dinner with my family and friends, I said, I don't think I've hit that much fade on a ball for the last 8 weeks. I've not moved the ball that much, and I've probably had moments where I've tried to move it that much intentionally and not, and I hit that one, and yeah, it came out just better than perfect. So
wow, that makes me want to puke. That's so exciting. I want to hear about 17. You made that putt and you just started laughing. I've had a debate about what happened there. Did you miss hit that and you were laughing at where it ended up?
No. So like,
it was a tough time for the cheesecake.
The whole day, obviously, I'd been hitting putts like 5 foot past like an idiot, and just missed some. So that putt there in particular was just like glass. It was just so downhill, and there was loads of break, and I hit it, and I actually thought it had a chance, and it died. But I knew I'd hit good pace, and that was all I was really focusing on. And I was just laughing to Billy, and I was just like, I just had no chance. It was just like, I'm just like laughing. I was like, oh, thank God, it's like not 5 foot past.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go to the last. We've got 1-shot lead. We'll take that. Take that. So. Yeah, that's what I was laughing about. Yeah.
We got to get into Skrill first, which is the best digital wallet for gamblers. We were using Skrill last weekend, U.S. Open. We all had different horses in the race at the end, which was very exciting. Skrill, it's sophisticated gamblers use Skrill to manage their bankroll, whether they're playing games like poker, betting on their favorite sports, i.e. Matthew Fitzpatrick at the U.S. Open. I had him top 5. They manage their bankroll using the wallet, which allows them to pay instantly and securely. It's payments without limits. Basically, you can access your bankroll with instant deposits. And why would I put them top 5 and not put some on them to win? That's just incredible. And also draw the cash using your prepaid card. This gives you access to your bankroll wherever you are in the world in any currency. Skrill thinks about your security relentlessly, so you don't have to share your private financial details needlessly or repeatedly. Let's just say Skrill is the best digital wallet for sports bettors, so it's a no-brainer to create your free account right this instant. Make sure to sign up at Skrill.com/Barstool. That's Skrill.com/Barstool to create your free account and complete the account verification by clicking Follow the Game after registering so you can start using their digital wallet today. That's Skrill.com/Barstool.
It's so cool to see you here now at the trophy. I was thinking back. We saw you on Monday. You were walking on the range. We gave you a little fist bump, and now looking at you with this trophy, it's so crazy to think about that moment. We're on the range. We just saw the U.S. Open champion. We didn't even know it. Is there a moment from Monday until Sunday that you can pick out that you felt like you had it this week? Is there ever a time that you know?
I don't think so, but I was. I feel like I don't really give away too much, but I felt really confident about the whole week. Just in general, it didn't feel like a major to me because I've had success there before. Yep. Just being so comfortable on that golf course, knowing where to hit it, where not to. And for me, deep down, I was like, I've beat everyone on this golf course, and I feel like I do it again. And that was the big thing the whole week. It was just like, if I had a bad hole, I was like, well, I've birdied this hole before, so I know I can get it back. And I just felt so comfortable. And whereas there wasn't one shot out there where I was like, this is the only hole where I felt uncomfortable, and I played it 3 over for the whole week. And it's the only hole we didn't play in the US Amateur was 11, par 3. And that was the only hole I just felt awful on the whole week. And I hit lob wedge, sand wedge, gap wedge, sand wedge.
Gosh.
And it's like a flick, it's I go there and hit a bucket of balls and probably miss the green once,
Right.
It's like that's how it is. And but the rest of the golf course, there wasn't a shot that I was like intimidated by, where you go other places, you go to Augusta and all these other golf courses, and you're like, not feeling comfortable on this hole or this shot. But there wasn't one spot, and I think that was probably the difference.
It's amazing because it's so true to when people say once you win it, then it kind of unlocks this confidence in you, and you already had that at that course. It's so amazing that was the catalyst for you feeling comfortable over the golf ball.
Because that's obviously what everybody talks about on the lead up, right? Like when you're even somewhere close on the leaderboard, they're like, oh, he won the USAM here, so he's going to be more comfortable. But it's interesting to hear that it really is that way, that you are just so much more comfortable than everybody else in the field, that it actually gives you a pretty big leg up.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I've played well this year already, and I was actually really surprised at how much more confident I felt once I arrived. And I just think back through the holes now that we played, and I was just like, every one, I'm like, yeah, that this doesn't, I know where to hit it, I know the line, I know the feelings, and that was the difference.
You got to talk us through the charting of shots that you do. Your boy Danny Rappaport has, consistently gotten this out there in front of everyone. You chart every single shot that you hit.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, in practice, it's the same deal, but only sort of certain ones. But yeah, just everything. I just want to know, no stone left unturned, and want to figure out what's going wrong or what's going right, and why I'm doing it, and just how I can keep getting better, really.
Do you know anybody else that does even anything close to that?
Not that I know of. The closest guy is the guy that I work with. Probably is Eduardo Molinari.
Yeah.
So it's probably be him, but outside of that, I don't know. Most of the guys have the caddies do the stats and stuff. And as much as I love Billy, there's no way I could let him do that. There's no way. Yeah.
Do you used to have piles of notebooks somewhere with charted shots?
No, I mean, just all the yardage books we get. I've got two. I think I've got 2 full boxes at home in the UK, and I've got probably a big box at home in Florida now. So, just slowly building them up. But I mean, golf courses we went to 6-7 years ago. A, we might not go there again, and B, sometimes the holes change and stuff anyway. So some of them are still useful,
so
some of them aren't.
You don't have a storage unit somewhere that's just...
Soon, I guess.
I think you're going to have to.
I'm going to have to, yeah.
Some trophies in there now.
He's got forklift. He's got to go down aisle 4 and figure out which book. So, you're pounding the golf ball. I just couldn't believe some of the drives, some of the yardages. You're just flushing it. You're ahead of guys. That wasn't always the case. Where did this come from? How did we get to this point where Matty Fitz is just pounding the fucking golf ball all of a sudden?
Yeah. So I use this thing called the Stack. It's like a swing speed stick. It's just a golf club with different weights on the end. You use an app, and it's like got an algorithm, tells you what you need to do, what weights you need to put on, how many swings. Been doing it probably for 2 years, and I don't know why I keep meaning to speak to Sasha about it, but it certainly feels like the last 2-3 months, all of a sudden it's like just like switched, and all of a sudden it's like 10-15 yards longer, not just slowly getting longer. It almost just feels like overnight it's just gone 15 yards, and I don't know if that's just the media reporting it more or what, but it's it's been pretty good.
That's interesting because you're not jacked. Like, obviously there's other people in the sport who decided to get jacked and do it that way, but Frankie and I were talking about it before you got here. Like, could we do this to Frankie? Could he do this similar
100%
thing and get that type of distance?
Oh, come on.
Really?
Yes, 100%.
I need to add this to fixing Frankie.
So my friend actually, wait, I might have it on here. He won't appreciate the shout out, but he said he bought. I convinced him to get the Stack, so he sent me his numbers after one session, and his driver speed was 93 miles an hour, and then after 4 sessions he was 101 mile an hour.
Holy shit!
And it's about, I think per mile an hour it's about 2.5 yards, so 8 miles an hour. So what's that? Almost 16, bit over 20 yards difference.
So what is this actually doing? Is it increasing muscle?
No, it's just increasing. It's just increasing the ability for your body to move the club faster.
Okay.
Basically. It's like, just think about it like going to the gym. So you start on 10 kg and 11, 12, whatever. So the more you do it, it's really good.
Kilograms.
Frankie, you already hit the ball pretty far, but add a little distance. Why not?
Gosh, that's probably the least of my worries right now, though. You know what I need to start taking up on is the cross-handed chipping.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Are you sick about talking about this at this point?
No. I like it. It's
what the fuck's going on with that?
It's amusing.
It blows my mind every time I see it. I'm like, there's no way this guy's doing this at the U.S. Open. I mean, maybe it was like cute last week. There's no way he's doing it.
I'll be honest. Like, I hit my drive on Saturday, 17. Hit driver. Had like 40 yards or whatever to the pin, and that's kind of like an awkward number for it. Like, is it too far? Is it? And I wasn't sure, and it was off the tight fairway as well. And I'm like, it's the Saturday of the U.S. Open. Like, if I make birdie here, I'm leading by. I think I was leading by 2 at that point, maybe, or 1. And do I go conventional or do I go like, I don't want to mess this up? And I'm like, no. You've been doing this all day. You know how it comes off the club. Everything about it, I was like, no, just do it. Just do it. And I did. Played a great pitch. It went to 8 feet. I thought it was going to go closer, really. But ever since I started doing it, it's just so much more consistent for me off the strike and the spin. And I can't, like, spin the nuts off it and, like, create crazy shots. But it's just, like, the standard shot, which was actually my sort of Achilles heel, really, is so much more consistent because it's just very similar every time.
How'd you get into this? What was the breaking point?
My coach. So my coach basically, it was always a drill, and I always just mess around doing it as well because it was also a practice drill, and my stats weren't good from the fairway. I did it from the rough for a long time, or for the last 2 years, and then my stats weren't great out of the fairway, and I was like, I'm gonna do it off the fair. I'm gonna do it off the fairway. It's good. Like, I know I'm good with it, and I did. And this year's, I mean, I think I saw something the other day before last week. I moved up like 80 spots from last year's around the green ranking to this year's. So it's crazy.
Mind-blowing stuff, man. It's crazy. It looks outrageous, but it just works, man. It just works.
It works.
You mentioned Billy earlier. His reaction on 18 obviously was incredible. What have you guys like had conversations, just the two of you, since this has happened? Like, what has that been like between the two of you?
It's been great. Yeah. We spent a little bit of time alone together. Sort of everyone was in the room where people were like having a drink and stuff, and I just kind of wanted 5 minutes, and he was sat in the locker room by the bag, just on his phone, like texting people.
Yeah.
So we spent some time just talking about it and how it was and how the week was, and he was, you know, he was just so happy for doing it for so long, and he said it himself. I know how much it means to him to win a major, and he's I just know full well what he's like. He couldn't be happier.
That's awesome.
Unreal. Well, look, Matthew Fitzpatrick, you've been our Euro for 4 or 5 years now. You're our guy. You are only the second Englishman since 1970 to win the U.S. Open. It's insanity. One of our top guys. We appreciate you coming in. We're very, very happy for you. Congratulations. We still got to do our scramble against you. Now it's got things have ramped up. Things have ramped up.
Wait, before we get into that, did you see his FaceTime the other day? Was that crazy? Riggs FaceTimed you in the midst of the madness.
I know.
We were live on the show.
I saw the missed call. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
It was a bold attempt.
It was bold. We were live.
It
We're recording
was.
the show. We're like, why don't we just call the guy right now? We're like, he's actually just won the US Open.
Have you had anybody like reach out to you and say congratulations that you didn't expect? Somebody huge. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, I am a member of his golf club down in Florida, and he let me in. But Michael Jordan did text me just saying, "Well done." So that was like,
that was Matty Fitzpatrick's dick just dropping on the fucking table.
That
was
wow.
that was a pretty. I was pretty blown away.
MJ congratulating someone on a championship is as high as you can get in sports.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you guys are talking about the thing you both done.
That was unreal. Yeah.
You guys carrying that trophy, getting texts from Michael Jordan. I tried to FaceTime him afterwards. So.
It's just not good.
He like swiped right by your notification. Was like, oh, thanks, MJ.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Scramble. We say it to every guy that comes on. We just like never follow up with them.
Well,
we have to fucking play Scramble.
The problem we're running into now is that the guys that we challenge, then they win a major and they become harder
True.
to pin down.
You and Scotty. Scotty was the guy we were gonna do. He just won the Masters. Like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah. One of these days we'll play in a scramble. Whenever that is, who knows? But seriously, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean,
really
wow.
happy for you, man.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Congratulations, Matt. You're the man.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate the time.
The United States Open champion Matt Fitzpatrick was in studio in the office with you fellas. I zoomed in for it, so we're all there for the interview, but I wasn't physically there. I love the intro. I love when he walked in. I liked you guys clapping for him. I love the picture. How was his aura in person?
It was incredible. I mean, it definitely felt like a major champion, even though we said that we probably wouldn't feel that way with Matty Fitz because he's just one of the boys and he's a little guy, and like something about his like stature doesn't make you feel like you're going to be intimidated around him going into it. And then he walked in and like we were kind of like shaking. It was just like when you walk in with the US Open trophy
Changes everything.
You can do anything. Yeah. Like I could walk in to a room with a trophy and everyone would be like, holy shit, look at that guy. Like, and I'm the most pathetic looking person ever. So really cool to see Matty Fitz with that kind of aura around him. The whole place, Steinberg was there. It was just like everything about it was just fucking different.
Yeah, I like how he definitely appreciates being a major champion. I'm sure all these guys who win appreciate being a major championship or being a major champion, but he outwardly expresses it. Like when we talked to him on the interview, somebody asked him, do you feel different? And most guys would say, no, I'm just me now with a major championship. He was like, yeah, I feel different. Everything feels different because I'm a major champion now. So he seems very open and very transparent about what this process is like. Also, I would like to apologize. I'm very echoey because I am once again in an empty apartment. I feel like we did this a year ago when I didn't have any furniture. We're back. I'm out on Long Island.
You're not a decor guy. You're just not a big decor guy, too.
Dude,
say, you know.
Well, I got a couch coming Friday, and I was telling Riggs before we jumped on here, I hated my couch so much in Manhattan that I just left it behind. I was like, I'm not taking that thing with me. I'm going to buy a new couch when I get here. So now I'm in this weird in-between stage where I didn't bring my old couch and my new couch hasn't gotten here yet. So I'm just standing in my apartment doing a podcast right now. And in terms of decor, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I've gotten to the point now where I put out a call for help on Twitter last night.
You're soliciting paintings? You're looking for paintings?
I don't even know what I'm soliciting at this point. I just need help putting things up on my walls. I don't know. People are like, it's about you can't ask people for help. It's about what you like, what art speaks to you. It's like, I just want to put shit up on my wall so it doesn't look like I'm living in an insane asylum. That's all I want. So I did. I put out a call to action, a call for help last night. Got a lot of suggestions that I'm going to have to go through, more than I was even anticipating. So, but I'm just standing in an empty apartment right now, and that's why it's echoey.
Yeah, you need to get some bar stools for sure. You can't be standing for a 2-hour podcast.
I ordered those. Those are on the way.
Yeah,
So,
the stand is not ideal. So we have Matt Fitzpatrick on the show. Excellent, fun interview. He's beaming ear to ear. Goes through a lot of the shots, the moments. He's super honest. Talk about the cross-handed chipping, and we get a good story about him. Not even sure on some shots in the U.S. Open if he should go cross-handed or conventional. And obviously, we've had him on 4 or 5 times. From really, it felt like his start, if you will, on the PGA Tour. He's big on the European Tour and the race to Dubai and winning that, getting on the Ryder Cup, and kind of his whole evolution and progression to where he's at now, where he's the hottest thing in golf. He just won the most recent major championship, U.S. Open. It was a phenomenal one too. So it doesn't have, in terms of U.S. Opens, I felt like it came with the most validity that you can have. It didn't have a Chambers Bay or Aaron Hills or Congressional when Rory won and it rained and he was able to just drop everything. Like there's always some there's a difference in when you win at a Winged Foot or an Oakmont, and I feel like the Country Club very much presented itself like those venues of you had to fucking carry all the characteristics of a true old school U.S. Open champion to win this last week, and he did all that. So congrats to Matthew Fitz. He's elevated, only the second Englishman since 1970 to win the U.S. Open, and he was in studio with you guys, brought the trophy, chatting with us. And then we got a million things going on. PGA Tour all of a sudden found like hundreds of millions of dollars that they're going to allocate to players in a new series that looks identical to another series, which that series has now lured Brooks Koepka away, Abraham Answer away. Collin Morikawa put out statements basically shitting on everyone, saying that they were wrong because he's not going anywhere. Barstool Golf Time. We can talk about that real quick because we have our own tee time app. I used it yesterday, actually, to find a new place, Longleaf. Went over there, got a tee time, got a great deal. Booked it on the app in 2 seconds. I also got next weekend, 4th of July weekend, before we go to Scotland. I'm going to be home for a few days with the boys. We use Barstool Golf Time to book that tee time. Leave reviews. Reviews are great. You book your next tee time with the Barstool Golf Time app. Kirk Minahan had the best Barstool Golf Time app ad read of all time. I'm not going to be able to match that right now, but if you remember, go check out that clip on Twitter or Instagram. It's very funny. Do you need an easier way to golf? Book your next tee time. Thousands of courses available by downloading our brand new Barstool Golf Time app. It's not brand new. The copy's probably from a year ago or so. But go check it out. Rewards program. Book rounds that submit course reviews to build rewards. You get exclusive Barstool merch discounts with those rewards. So you're going to get cheaper tee times. You have access to courses. You can just look and see when your favorite courses have available tee times. And then you also get rewards, which gets you discounted merch going forward. So it's just a win, I would say. So go download the Barstool Golf Time.
It's an amazing app. I got an email, just a regular email, because I am a downloader and user of the app, Barstool Golf Time app. And there was a promotion last week where it was like, if you just booked your first tee time last week, I think the promotion's over at this point, but you got 2,000 reward points just for booking last week during that promotion time. And we're running stuff like that all the time. I was talking to Fitzsimmons. Here, he's one of the behind the scenes guys at Barstool, and he's like, he sees so much potential. The app is doing so well, and so many people are using it because it's so good with the reviews and all of the people that are booking on it, that like we need to like put more time and effort into how good it actually is. Like, dude, the rewards part of the Barstool Golf Time app is so good. If you book like a couple of rounds of golf, which you're gonna do anyway, you can get like free merch on the app. Like, I don't know if you guys go through the app and all your rewards lists, like it's insane. Last week when they gave out that double 2,000 sign up thing, you automatically were like one booking away from just like a Peter Millar quarters. It was insane. Like, you're gonna book a fucking golf round anyway. Like, just do that on the one that you're gonna get rewards on. And we have a leaderboard also that we were talking about recently in one of the shows a little while ago. And it just has like the leaderboard. Like, there's a guy named Tyler Lechik, Leck. Is that how you would say it? Lechik?
Sure.
LASIK? He's got 26,000.
Eye surgery?
I'm going to say Tyler Lechik. 26,750 points. He's leading Barstool Golf Time on the leaderboards. Second place, dude, he's got an 11,000 point lead on second place. Tony Parella, 15,025 points. It's insane. And I think we did say that we're going to golf with Tyler if he holds that lead at the end of the year. So there is incentive to rise the leaderboard. You're going to book tee times anyway. Go do it on Barstool Golf Time. I think it's an amazing app. It was like blowing my mind how seamless it is.
Go download, go use the Barstool Golf Time application. Do you guys think that in our lifetime, do you think life expectancy in our sort of lifetime will go way up? Like, it's always gone up, right? Like, when you read about history and the Romans, it's like people lived to be fucking 30 or 40. Now you live to be 80, 90. Do you think in our lifetime it'll be like people were like 150?
It's going to take a serious jump. There's going to have to be some sort of like real scientific discovery, because I think the way that it is now, we've maxed out regular human lifespan. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, like without altering the body a lot or something along those lines. Is that what you're saying?
That's how it feels to me. Like you're talking about in those olden days when it was like, man, if you make it to 45, you're a senior citizen. That was just because they didn't have the right nutrition. They used to think smoking was good for you. Like, those people didn't know anything. But now it seems like there's enough data out there that we've maxed out. Like 90 feels like the number where if you eat right and you don't get hit by a car, you could probably live to 90. But we're going to need a big change if we're going to try to see it jump to 150.
I think there's so much resources now and so many people with so much money and access to things that, like, the top tier people of the planet are going to do everything they can to live as long as they can. And I think that that's happened forever, I'm pretty sure. Like, everyone who's been at the top has tried to live as long as possible. But I think we're now at a level where it's like so ridiculously advanced that we'll see the biggest jump in them succeeding, if that makes any sense. Like,
yeah, I agree with that.
In the last like centuries, the top people of Earth have not even been able to come close to how close they can come now. And in 100 years, they'll come even closer to just living forever. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm looking at this. I just Googled this. 19th century world average was between 28.5 and 32.
Jesus.
1900, 31 to 32. 1950, 45 to 48. 2019 to 2020, between 73 and 74.
Damn, that's
global. That's global. That's
not
just the United States of America.
But still,
that's a crazy jump in the last 100 years.
Yeah, those numbers were lower more recently than I would have thought.
I think it starts to get to the 90s real soon.
Yeah, that's global average. That's insanity that's that different. Dude. That speaks to Frankie's point. I think that's kind of why I think I was listening to some Rogan podcast or something on one of my flights. And sometimes what happens, I listen to one if he's got somebody I'm really interested in the interview, and I'll listen, then I fall asleep, and then when you wake up, it's on just another episode of something else. So I just kind of like appeared in the middle of one where they were talking about life expectancy, and essentially like the theory, the thought process of like cloning organs, and then people donating like billions of dollars now just to focus on eliminating disease, like just disease in general. And how if we get to the point where there's some like serum that people just take every day that will just basically make you almost never have disease. And then when your organs start to get to a point of failure, if we could just clone and recreate organs, which they can't do yet, then like you pretty much could just live for a really long time without many issues.
Rogan's actually a good test case because he's uber rich. He is very invested in wanting to live a very long time, and he's a very public figure. I feel like the really, really rich people who are trying to do this are kind of in the shadows. They're just like hedge fund dudes, and we don't really know much about him. Rogan is a guy who, he talks about it openly. He's like, I take all these supplements. I get this TRT. I get these injections in my stomach. Like, he is very much actively trying to make his life longer. So if he lives till he's 120, then he's on to something, and we'll be able to watch it because he's got a super famous podcast.
Well, we won't be able to watch it. We'll be long gone before Joe Rogan.
He's 50 now?
Yeah.
He's 55,
yeah,
I
probably
think.
will be.
Way gone.
So, yeah.
Bezos is another good one because he's pretty public. He's not as he's not talking as much as Rogan, but super duper rich, super obsessed with being healthy, and he's jacked and trying to live as long as he can. Like, unbelievably rich, the richest person in history.
Yep.
And I think he made $70-something billion like last year, a couple years ago. And I
don't
think
have a couch.
He's pretty public. He's not as public, obviously, as Rogan. But
Elon Musk will be another good one. I think that's everyone thinks about.
Trent
him.
is Jeff Bezos made $70 billion or whatever it is in 1 year, and Trent is standing. Trent's standing doing the podcast right now. Think about the difference in lives.
I was
We
at
both
Target.
were just put on this earth. One guy's standing right now talking into a computer. The other guy made $70 billion.
He's winning right now. There's no doubt about that.
1-0 Jeff.
Yeah.
I think 2020 he made 70-something billion, and last year he made like only $5 billion.
What a loser.
Yeah, tough year. Okay, Brooks Koepka. Well, you can start with him because he's the latest to jump to LIV. Koepka's obviously been a very polarizing dude. He went from pretty much nothing to winning 4 majors in like 3 years, and then he had the whole thing where he's like, I didn't think I could really have this voice beforehand, but now I've earned it. And then that voice became very polarizing. At first, I think people liked it. They're like, this guy's firing shots. He's not holding anything back. And for a megastar in golf, that's really cool. And then it kind of turned with all the Bryson stuff, and people fell on one side or the other, either being kind of a Brooksy, pardon my take kind of guy that loves Brooks Koepka and the fact that he's different and he's not like other golfers. And then the other half sort of just thinking that Brooks is kind of a douchey bully. That's where I fall. I think Brooks Koepka is just a douche at this point. I think he walks and talks like he's cool with everybody else, and I just don't enjoy that. I don't like that about him. I haven't. That's turned me off to him. Now he goes to LIV, so it's much easier for me to be like shitting on Brooks Koepka for doing that. I don't think it's surprising at all that Brooks Koepka went to LIV. I don't think he comes off like a guy that would hold dear a lot of the reasons that people wouldn't go to LIV. I think he's sort of the opposite of Rory McIlroy and a lot of these things, where Rory is just out there and open and puts his heart on his sleeve for the public to see and is all about legacy and the PGA Tour and carrying that torch and meeting the moment. And I don't think Brooks Koepka gives a fuck about any of that, which is totally fine, to each their own. But it's the reason that I've been pretty turned off by him. And then this is kind of the final nail in that coffin, if you will, for me. So I say good riddance. I don't really care that Brooks Koepka's gone, but that's a big fucking name for the PGA Tour to lose. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I now that LIV has just become a thing, like I know you're kind of trying to avoid that for a long time, but now it's just a thing. You got huge names going over there. To me, it has become great theater watching guys bend over backwards to not justify it, but to not talk about it until they jump. Like the U.S. Open press conference from Brooks Koepka was just fucking beautiful. You go back and watch it, and he's just like, "Hey, it's the U.S. Open. Let's take it easy. You're bringing a black cloud to the U.S. Open. Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore." When now, in retrospect, he had clearly already made an agreement to jump to LIV, and he was just like, "I don't want to have to answer these questions, so I'm just going to say you guys are bringing a black cloud to the U.S.
He
Open."
said he hadn't thought about it. He's like, I haven't thought about it. Think about the U.S. Open. We're like, well, I mean, you just negotiated probably a $150 million deal. You didn't think about that?
So
like, at any point?
it's just making guys who are fucking dicks, making them look like even bigger dicks. And Brooks Koepka is a perfect example of that. And I was tweeting a lot about it yesterday, just because it's a lot of fun to get in the mix with people when you just like start making fun of somebody, and then they're like, he's just playing for money. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. And it's like, all right, but I'm still going to make fun of him because that press conference is objectively hilarious when you look back on it. So I at this point, now that LIV is just getting guys, and it's pretty funny the names that they've gotten with the Patrick Reeds and the Brooks Koepkas, and just these names that people have in the past called them assholes, and now they're all just jumping over. But that's the lens I'm viewing it through now, because it's LIV is a thing. It's gonna be a thing. Jay Monahan has a motherfucker on his plate. I don't know how he's gonna handle it. It kind of sounds like he's gonna create something that's very similar to LIV. But going back to Brooks Koepka, I just like watching guys squirm, going for the money, and then not being able to say I went for the money. It's just a very interesting test case.
Yeah, Dave tweeted it out yesterday, and I completely agree that everything Brooks does is just slimy. Like, we've seen it in person. I don't know. He just kind of like walks right by us, and he's got the whole thing with Barstool. Like, he's done a bunch of podcasts, and he's done a podcast with us, and something about him is just, I don't know. He's definitely too cool for school. Looks at us as like nerds or whatever, even though like every other one of his.
We're not cool enough for him.
Yeah, like, but all of his like friends and guys on tour, like, or will come up to us, hug us, and like dap us up, and he just walks right by and kind of like smiles and laughs. Like, look at those fucking guys.
Do you think he has friends on tour? Do you think he like really has friends on tour?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know many people, and I don't know many people that really like him on tour, but I just like.
I don't either.
At this point for LIV, it's just a thing, like Trent is saying. It's crazy that they can't just come out and say like why they're doing it. I'll agree with that. But at this point, like so many guys have committed to it. At this point, it's like so many have done it. They all can't be the worst person in the world for doing it. Like every single guy that plays in that tournament can't all be the worst person ever. And like it's like they're all just like getting the money now, which like if they could just come out and say it, it is what it is. Like
I don't think they're the worst person in the world, but I do think they're like you're kind of a slimy piece of shit. Like Brooks, Brooks is the slimiest because the way that he did it, but there's still part of you where it's like, and we get caught up rightfully in like the atrocities, but also it's taking away from the game of golf. Like. We don't have Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, and all these guys. Just they're not playing. We're not going to get to see them play in like high level competition. They can take the money, but like I'm not getting any of that money, so I don't have to like that they're getting all that money. It's like yeah, they're getting all that money. That's sick. While I'm sitting here without a couch, so it doesn't matter to me that they're getting the money. What matters to me is that we're not going to see these guys play in high level PGA Tour tournaments, and they're going to go play 54 shotgun start and make $50 million a year. That does nothing for me.
Yeah, I agree. And look, the money thing, everybody understands it. There's a reason they can't just say it, and that's because when you do a deal with the devil, right? The devil wants something, and what they want in this case, they're not paying people hundreds of millions of dollars just to play golf. That ain't the deal. They're paying them to play golf and also to say certain things. They send out talking points, and those things are. Right now, who knows, over the next 3-5 years, if you sign a 3-5 year deal with them, you don't know what they're going to ask you to say. You don't know what all they're going to ask you to do, when they're going to ask you to dance. Right now, that is, they can't clearly just come out and say, we're taking all the money, see you later. They have to say they're growing the game. They have to say that they're doing all these things that the Saudi-backed league is asking them to do. And the reason that I've been very much like, I wouldn't do this deal, sure, the morality thing, I'm not the moral police, so I have a number, clearly. It's because you don't know what the fuck they're going to ask you to do. That is my concern. If there's another fucking 9/11 and you're put up there and 15 of the 19 hijackers are from Saudi Arabia and you're put up there in front of a microphone in front of the press and you can't say, oh yeah, like if all the evidence is clear that Saudi Arabia was implicated in the whole thing and you literally cannot say that and you have to come out, you're put in a horrific position because you made a bad deal with the devil. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen in the future? And that's where my issue comes from. They have a horrible past. These things are not that. It wouldn't be that shocking if more horrific things come up, like the executions a few months ago, like the execution of a journalist that was against them, that was a colleague of a lot of journalists around this country, which is why a lot of journalists are clearly opposed to this whole thing. You don't know what you're going to have to answer. That's why Phil Mickelson, when he was confronted with the 9/11 family thing, like he just had to say, I respect the families. And so when you don't know what you're going to have to be asked to do, say, and when those people that are going to ask you to do that clearly have a horrific history, you're just putting yourself in a position where over here playing for the PGA Tour, over here making your good amount of money, you will never be in that kind of position. And I think clearly the top 15 ranked players in the world have made that call. I don't think it's shocking that of all the guys that are going over there, a lot of them are disliked or villains or over the hill around here. I mean, think about the guys. Patrick Reed, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, and then you look at the rest of the guys. Like, they're either over the hill when you have the Sergios and the Lee Westwoods, or they've been battling injuries. And it's like the top 15 ranked players in the world are not going over there. And they've clearly made that choice, and they will not be put in a press conference like Phil Mickelson had to be put into. They will not have videos come out unless they decide to defect. Like Brooks Koepka's video came out from last week where he looks like a fucking asshole because he was shitting all over people for asking about this, saying he never thought about it. Clearly he had thought about it the whole time. So if you are okay with looking like an asshole that can't just come out and be honest with people and be honest with the media. If you're okay with that, then take your hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't think anybody really can't understand that, but you're going to have to answer and put yourself in some shitty spots where you look like a fucking asshole, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, and the thing I don't understand about the money, like people defending the money, is that, like, again, it's going back to what I said. Like, we don't see any of that money. All that's happening to us as the consumer is the level of play is going down. Like, it's weird to me. It's always been weird to me where it's like, Phil or DJ got $175 million. That's awesome. Go play. It's like, you see none of that, and the product you watch on TV just got worse. So I don't know how you fit into that equation whatsoever. It's just odd to me to be like, yeah, go get that money, but thanks for making the tournaments I'm going to watch worse. I don't get that at all.
Or they could watch the ones that they're going to go play in if they like them. But my other...
Yes, but who... I mean... Yeah, I guess, but it's still
not
like
they
it's
just
a
leave
small,
and they never play anywhere.
But it's a smaller pool of good players.
Yeah, which is
like, are you going to be watching the LIV broadcast?
Well, I think we all watched it last week, right? Or
I did not know.
On Thursday, I watched it for maybe an hour, and then I was pretty much disinterested.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, just like a PGA Tour event, like you kind of like peek in from time to time. I'm not sitting there Thursday through Sunday watching every single fucking golf shot of the Travelers. I'm like, I'm turning on Golf Channel and seeing if it's on. And then on Sunday, you'll definitely watch the finish, which is what I did with LIV. I wanted to see how it would finish up. Like, interesting. It was really hard.
Who won that tournament?
What's his name? Fucking made $5 million. But bro, I mean, you could do that to me about 3 tournaments ago on the PGA Tour. I wouldn't know.
Charles Schwartzel won.
Charles Schwartzel, yeah. That's such like you could literally ask me that aside from the U.S. Open, I won't know the answer. But like
it was really the week before, like Rory won the Canadian Open. Like,
all right, I understand that. Okay, I get that, and I think that like things are different. Like whatever, I'm not gonna like go after you guys on like how you guys feel about it. I genuinely think that they're doing something that is working. Like we're gonna get into like what Jay Monahan's like deciding to do. Like obviously it's coming from a horrific place, and I actually wanted to come back to what Riggs was saying before, where like if something really bad happened in the world from Saudi Arabia, and then like all these guys are contracted, what would they say? Like how have the people that have already been contracted for Saudi Arabian money like dealt with that in the past? It's not the first time they've like sponsored a league or sports team. Like they've done F1, they've done soccer, they've done UFC, they've done WWE. Like, has it never happened before? I mean, like they just executed people 3 months ago, or like a couple months ago. Did like that Formula One team have to like come out and be like, yeah, we stand with Saudi Arabia, or did they just get the money and just like continue?
I could be wrong about this, and I don't know enough about it, but I think this is the first time they've signed contracts, like to be.
Really?
I don't know, but it seems like
they own a Premier League team and they own a Formula One team.
Yeah,
so.
when they bought the Premier League team, there was horrendous backlash against it.
No, but I'm saying, like, do the players have to stand up on like a podium and say like we stand with Saudi Arabian government? Has that been like confirmed that like when you sign a deal with these guys that you like stand or like are not allowed to talk out against anything they've ever done? Has that been like proven?
To Trent's point, no, we don't know what these contracts entail. That's where my issue comes from, is that you don't know. When you currently have your setup with the PGA Tour, you know you're not going to have to do that. Over there, you don't know. And my point is there's clearly evidence, because everyone keeps saying, oh, I wish they would just say they're taking the money. Why the fuck do people think they're not saying that? They're not allowed to just say that. So you don't know what you're going to be allowed and not allowed to say in the future, because there's already evidence that they're not allowed to just say what everyone knows they want to say.
Yeah. I think we'd all like to see the actual contracts. I think like smart agents and all these people that work in America and have worked for the PGA Tour and these players for 20, 30 years that are helping these guys get these contracts, like wouldn't sign their lives away to like the Saudi Arabian government. I would assume like normal-headed, intelligent people would like read between the lines and all the fine print and make sure that these guys like lives are like going to be okay over there, and like nothing's going to be, obviously there's going to be some restrictions on what they can say. I'm just trying to just take a point on like, I would assume that they looked at everything when making these decisions. Like a fucking Abraham Answer, who's really surprising name, like didn't take all these things into account.
Big numbers.
I think they did. I think the number is just trounces all the other stuff. I think that's that's what it comes down to, right? Like, they don't want to deal with negative publicity, but like they made a calculation where however many millions is worth negative publicity, having to be in tough interviews, not be able to say whatever the hell you want to say. I think like that's the trade-off. Now, it very well could be that nothing like that happens. These guys, contracts go for 3 or 5 years. They make hundreds of $millions. They only have to do a couple pressers where they get asked tough questions about Saudi's past, and it's not that big of a deal. That could be fine. But I'm just saying, for me on a personal level, the reason that I would be very hesitant or resistant if I were in these guys' shoes is because of the uncertainty and because there's already evidence that they can't just say, I went purely for the money, that they're just lying to people. They're literally standing up and lying and saying, oh, we're going to grow the game. And everybody's like, how did you grow the game last week? And Phil's like, well, there were kids at the event in London. Like, oh, okay. Like, you're just lying. Like, now you have to lie. And the reason you have to lie is because you made a deal for money. And in exchange for that money, you're put in a position where you can't just be honest with people. And in my opinion, that's a shitty position to be in.
Yeah.
I agree.
But money talks. But money talks.
Big
It
time.
does.
And the PGA
There was one someone tweeted so Brando was going on a crazy run again during the US Open, barely talked about the winner. It was just like everything was about Saudi Arabia. And someone was like, how come, like, why didn't you do this exact thing? And they like went back to his tweets on like when they played in February, and he just like refuses to answer that. And I always would love to know like where that like disconnect is on like why it's such a big issue now, like the Saudi backed money, or like why, like, I think there was a number of I don't remember the number, but there was a percentage of like all the people on the board of the PGA Tour have money invested in Saudi Arabian connections. Like all the businesses that they're on the board of all have money in Saudi Arabia. Like how come like no one's answering those questions, but we're all just like harping on the headlines of these specific players that are making the deals that everyone behind the scenes is also making the deals on? Is that just the way the world works, or is that just like, because I find that to be bullshit. Like, how come the PGA Tour is not answering those questions? All the board should go up there and be like, how come you've made millions of dollars off the atrocities of Saudi Arabian government?
Well, I think the reason that the other guys are being questioned is because people investing money happens all the time. People defecting from a major sports league and going to another one never happens. That's unprecedented.
Right.
So
is one right and the other's not, though, is my question?
No, but I don't think like people that like that's kind of the definition of whataboutism is like, oh, you can't call out these people for bad stuff because you didn't call this other stuff out. It's like, well, if that's what you in that moment, if something's getting massive headlines and it's newsworthy in a lot of people's mind and you have an opinion about it, you're going to voice it. Now, it's not clearly not equitable across all issues of all time, and I agree with you that that's bullshit, and you can start getting into nitpicking people for hypocrisy for sure. But I think the reason one's getting covered and the other isn't is because when Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson leave and get banished from the PGA Tour to go to another league, that's just massive news. That takes over ESPN, that takes over everywhere. I mean, Fox News is tweeting about it, CNN's tweeting about it. Like, that's just huge news.
And it's because I agree with what you're saying, Frankie, but also it's because it's all very complicated, and this right here with LIV and the PGA Tour and all these guys defecting is as black and white as you're going to get. So it's easier for a lot of people to grasp onto it. Like with the businesses and investments and things in the past and nobody said anything, like it's just hard for the populace, the public to like get their hands dirty with all of it. But seeing Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed, Bryson DeChambeau, seeing what's going on, clearly knowing what's going on, and still being like, I'm going to take that money, that's what makes people turn their heads, because they're like, they can do 2 + 2 = 4, and they're like, that's pretty fucking crazy. And that's why it gets so much exposure.
I totally agree. I do agree. And yeah, I'm putting myself in the head of like a Dustin Johnson or like an Abraham Answer, where like they must know like the answers that I'm asking. Like they must know names and businesses of the stuff, like the same thing they're doing, and like the restraint they must have to not like call them all out and just go up there and just take their lashings. And like, you know what I mean? It's got to be kind of like a difficult place to be like, yeah, I know I did the wrong thing, but like every person that I'm like leaving is also, there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing. It's like, it's hard to not like point the finger in their position. Is my
definitely
point.
Can't do that now.
You can't do that now.
No, you're in a tough spot now. Whoop's great. I got this green puppy. Trent's got that too. I know we're talking about Masters, maybe a little Masters green on there, but Whoop, you see JT. JT wears the armband we were noticing.
Yeah, he wears it up on his bicep. because it must. I don't know if it bothers him, like his swing, if it's down on his wrist, but he wears it up on his bicep. And Riggs, you had said that you might start doing that?
I would love to start doing that. I didn't even know that was really an option. I saw it, like, I don't know, he was doing his little sleeve thing, and I saw JT's and was like, ooh, I might get into that. But I will say the Whoop 4.0, it's much smaller, so I don't even really notice it. But Frankie was giving me the details of you want it like 2 fingers behind your wrist bone.
Yep. Yep.
Is kind of what you were
two
saying?
fingers on top of the wrist bone, like, up the arm is the ideal spot. A lot of times it like just goes down onto your like wrist or closer to your thumb. Sometimes for me, like it'll just get so loose and it'll just like, I'll be like, man, this thing's not reading anything. You got to get it nice and tight. I think that's why JT does it while he's swinging, because it's just like tight around his arm. The biggest thing about the Whoop is making sure that it's attached to your body so that no light is getting in underneath, and then it affects the data. So you need, just like anything, any of the other watches or whatever, you can't have it hit natural light. You need to make sure that thing's nice and tight.
Well, I think the tendency is to wear it like a watch, but it's not.
Right.
You got to put it further down on the arm. And you can see mine. Mine's clear because I wore it down there for a while, and I now have a tan line there. But if you just push it up a little bit higher, you're going to get much better data.
Yeah. I got Brock Nelson, Islanders, War Road, Minnesota, American hero, good guy, plays hard, loves the game. He was seeing like why some of his stats were off, and he wears them during games and the whole thing. He loves, during skates, like loves to see his data. And he was like wondering why I was wrong. Whoop reached out to him with like multiple emails explaining exactly why, what process he has to go through to make sure that like you reset the fucking data. It's real. They're so good when it comes to like, if you're genuinely curious about all this stuff, Whoop is by far and away the greatest thing that you can buy, because the team behind it is so invested in you knowing what's going on. Like if you felt like you had COVID or something, you could email them and be like, hey, you see Will Ahmed, the founder, literally like responds to people on Twitter being like, let me see your like last 5 days of recovery. And like, oh yeah, that's spiking. You should see a doctor. Like, it's crazy how interactive they are. They're amazing, the team.
The Whoop 4.0, it's smaller, it's smarter, it's designed with new biometric tracking, including skin temperature, blood oxygen, and a new haptic alarm. Go to whoop.com, enter the code FORE to save 15% at checkout. That's whoop.com, enter the code FORE, F-O-R-E, you save 15% at checkout. All right, the PGA Tour has responded. Jay Monahan on Tuesday morning had a mandatory players meeting at the Travelers Championship. Out of that meeting, it was leaked, and he's about to have a presser, I think, in the next couple hours, but we're recording early today. But I think he's just going to say everything that's been leaked, which is that there will be, starting in 2023, which is next year, if you're not close to a calendar, that's next year, next fall, there will be an 8-event fall series with no cut, the top 50 in the FedEx Cup standings, so the top 50 who finished the FedEx Cup the few months beforehand, that following the season beforehand, will be eligible and will be in these events. There'll be no cut, 8 events, $20 million purse for each. It's a great idea. I don't know if they're going to throw teams in there.
Boy, where did they come up with this? It's fucking unbelievable.
I said this months ago before these guys started going over. Just take everything that they were rumored to be doing and just do it. I don't know why it took the guys to actually call Jay Monahan's bluff and just go, for him to be like, oh yeah, we have all this extra money. We have like $20 million to give in the fall, and we're just going to do like smaller events for all you guys. Like, why couldn't you just do it? Just do it.
Phil Mickelson's been saying this for 2 years. Like, this is like Phil Mickelson has got to be in a room somewhere, I don't know where, just yelling, being like, yeah, this is what I want. But I got $200 million and now I'm not part of the PGA Tour anymore, and that's what had to happen.
But how much better would Phil's life be if they just listened to him and he's like, this is what the players want. Like, I've talked to them. I've talked to like 20 to 30 of the top guys, even though some of them are over the hill and other guys are villains. This is what we want. Can you just listen to us? And Jay Monahan's like, no, leave. I bet you won't. And he's like, we will. Like, and we're going to answer horrifically hard questions, and everyone's going to think we're like, we made 9/11 happen, but like, we just wanted more money for all the PGA Tour players and less events and like cooler, different formats. And he's like, no. And now he's doing it. It's fucking infuriating probably for the guys. They're like, why do we have to be over here with these fucking lunatics in Saudi Arabia? You could have just done this 6 months ago.
It is inarguable that competition, wherever it comes from, is better for the participants, because
Fuck
it makes
that. Jay Monahan dropped the ball. That's my stance. I think he fucking dropped the ball on it.
He
had all this money and all this opportunity to do this.
What happens with like when a PGA Tour is in the position that they're in, there's a little bit of complacency because you think nobody's ever going to go anywhere. So now it's starting to motivate change. And it sucks. It fucking sucks that it comes from Saudi Arabia and there's these guys jumping over for this. That's what made this happen. I mean, yeah, there's certainly the PGA Tour and Jay Monahan. They're not blameless in this whole thing. For a while there, they were in the driver's seat because it was easy to be like, you guys can't go over there. Look at the atrocities. Like, you got to stay here. We'll change a couple things. We'll make the PIP program, but things aren't going to change overly. And then they did. They jumped, and now things are really going to change.
Yeah, and the Tour, look, the Tour inherently in this situation was in a bad position because they're up against an irrational player in the market. That is a Tour with unlimited money. So they were going to get fucked no matter what. Now, I agree that it's ironic that the Tour has come out and is always basically framed as the good guy right now because people have been bitching about the PGA Tour forever. We've had our run-ins with the PGA Tour. Agents don't like the PGA Tour in a lot of ways. Sponsors, players, caddy, all kinds of issues. But now, Tour has had really no choice. I mean, yes, Jay Monahan's play that he chose, which clearly did not work out, was that he was going to try to stop this before it started. He was going to try to say, you'll be banned. He was going to say and get everyone to pledge their allegiance to the PGA Tour, which he did. And his hope was that that momentum would be so great that it would stifle everything before it even started. And that when Phil Mickelson disappeared for 4 months, that's because this whole thing was thwarted. He won the battle, and Phil Mickelson was going to have to return with his tail between his legs, and none of this was going to get started. Instead, the money ended up being too appealing. He ended up getting, in terms of Greg Norman, he ended up getting Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson and all the aforementioned names that we've talked about. And then now it started to happen way more like Greg Norman said it was going to happen than like Jay Monahan said it was going to happen, which was other players are going to see folks that are worse at golf than they are, that are less star power, that have less star power than they have, making outrageous amounts of money, and they're going to say, fuck this, I should be over there playing. And now Brooks Koepka goes, Abraham Answer goes, Patrick Reed goes. Who's next? Who knows? But that puts him in a bad spot. He was wrong, I think, on the way that he played those cards. But I think he was going to get kind of fucked anyways because you're up against a completely irrational player in the market who could just offer people unlimited money with no plan for return, no plan for profit. And if any business on earth were up against another business like that, they would get blown out of the fucking water.
Totally. I wish, and I've said this a million times, I wish the money came from a good place because the PGA Tour really would have been fucked had it been just fucking Bill Gates, the Gates Open or whatever they want to call it. I don't know what the fucking name, I'll workshop it. But had $1 billion been thrown from American money and all this stuff, what the fuck would they have said then? I mean, Jay Monahan would have legitimately had to be fired. I mean,
no, I think if that were the case, there wouldn't have been such a hard line in the sand. They would have cooperated. Like the reason,
so?
Yeah. He took a hard line. He took a morality stand and was like, if you go over there, you're going to get suspended or banned. If he saw, I mean, well, the thing is it's like there isn't ever going to be a league with unlimited money that they would work with. Like that's not, you know what I mean? Like no good intentions come from a league without a business model. So it's a position that you almost can't predict.
It's true.
Right, like the Gates Open would be like Bill Gates is a businessman.
It's the worst
he would have some sort of like business model that wouldn't allow him to pay people $200 million to break off, right? And like it's just so. If that were the case, then their intentions wouldn't be to just like cleanse their reputation. It would be to try to make money at some point, and instead they don't. So the whole thing again puts them in a bad spot. It is funny that the Tour now is like, we found $200 million that we could just throw at a fall series event, whether they raise new sponsors. And I did find a quote from earlier this year where Jay Monahan said the PGA Tour reserves are at $225 million. They were at a high water mark, about $300 million prior to COVID. We think that's a reasonable range to keep our reserves in the event of any event like we've experienced the last couple of years, aka COVID. You just don't know what's going to happen. So whether they dug into the reserves, whether they found new sponsors, I don't know, but they also raised FedEx Cup's going from 15 million to 18 million. The LIV's increasing. The purses in general are increasing, and now they're throwing 50-player events with no cut, 8 fall series events with the biggest stars in the game that are going to have $20 million purses, which is bigger than other purses on the biggest events on the PGA Tour. The whole thing is very funny.
I just pictured Jay Monahan rifling through his pockets. Like, I think I got a little bit more. Oh yeah, there's more. There's
it's like a movie scene where like the kid's mad at his like mom or something. She's like, you need like, I'm trying to think of like, was it 8 Mile or something where like Eminem's mom's like going and trying to find an extra dollar for him. She's like, do you need money? And he's like leaving the house, whatever. I do want to say about the making a return. Everyone's been saying that like LIV has no like belief that they're going to make any money. This is just to sport wash and like whatever. Is there no thought that the original like proposition for this whole thing was to make golf a bigger sport, like a major sport where like the NBA makes $10 billion a year in revenue? Like, I mean, so like, they spent $1 billion on players and all of this stuff. Like all these other sport leagues do that and more, and they're huge and they have all these huge TV deals and all these advertisers. Like, isn't that where they wanted to get golf? Isn't that what the players want? They want to make NBA money. They want to make NFL money. They're like, this is what we're trying to do. Don't they see a return there in the future? We're acting like $1 billion is like too much for a sports league.
I'd have to go back and like when Greg Norman first burst on the scene with LIV, like did he come to the PGA Tour hat in hand being like, let's grow this thing? Or has it always been ill intentions? I don't know. I really don't know.
Has it been confirmed to be ill intentions, or is that like our speculation of like where the money's coming from and like why they're spending so much money? Like, is there no business model anywhere at like Greg Norman's fucking facility, like when all these people are working on this thing, like to try and make $10 billion in revenue like the NBA did last year?
I'm sure they're going to claim that because they can't, again, claim what we all suspect is the real reason, which is sports washing. That's why they're doing it. But if they have no TV deal and no known path to any TV deal whatsoever, they have no sponsors. There were essentially no fans to the point where they're giving away tickets for free. So if you have no revenue, like basically none, and you're spending $1 billion or $2 billion, it's very difficult to justify that you have a legitimate business model of a plan. And so if they were spending 10% of that or something, maybe you could I think justify that they're trying to get to a path where in 3 to 5 years they could have a return of business. Like that's not that crazy to invest in something that's not going to turn a profit for a little while. But the PGA Tour does a little over $1 billion, I think, $1.5 billion in like annual revenue with everything, with their 47 events and all that they do. And this thing's going to spend, I think they said $2 billion to get something going that has no revenue. So I just think that like it's hard at this stage to in any way claim that they have a real business model. I mean, if you're paying at this point, you know, Ian Poulter $25-30 million. Do you think Ian Poulter's worth $25 or $30 million?
No, absolutely not.
So it's like then they're doing that 50 times over.
We lost Trent.
They're doing that 50 times over. They're doing that with like every player. So it just seems like.
And I agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate of like, do they like? And as I was asking it, I'm like looking up the revenue of all these other leagues. Like at some point, there had to have been a conversation for just golf in general. Like, how do we get to that level? And yes, like Greg Norman has had all his own personal wants and needs like at the forefront of this whole thing. He's going to make as much money as he personally can. But I just wonder if there was ever the time where it's like, let's just get this thing to like $10 billion in revenue. Like let's get golf as a sport to $10 billion like the NBA is. Let's be on TNT every single fucking week. And let's get the Charles Barkley's, like make a super fucking league of golf. And like, let's make these guys, these superstars more money. And honestly,
I think that like the people that they're hiring, I think that those people are trying to do that. I think you're right. Like I think it's I don't know where it stops, but I think like the people behind the whole thing, I don't know if they care about that, but the people right in front of them whether that's Greg Norman or the people underneath Greg Norman or the management that is working for LIV, that a lot of them were hired from the PGA Tour or from Golf Channel or from places over here. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think that the people that are working on the broadcast are trying to make the broadcast, even if it's on YouTube, as cool and edgy and new as they possibly can, right? Like, I don't think those people are trying to make sure nobody knows that Saudi Arabia executes people. I think their intentions are to make golf and the golf that they're working for, which is LIV, as cool as fucking possible. So I agree with you. I think that like 99% of the players in this whole thing, I think, are good intentioned. It's just the 1% or however many people who happen to be the ones bankrolling the whole thing who I think were pretty skeptical about their intentions.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like, I don't think it's that. Like, I think it's probably possible that Greg Norman wants to change golf for the good. I think Greg Norman probably wants to have the PGA or the LIV be like the NBA, where it's like you're recruiting players and you have teams and the fucking crushers and we're making fun of it. But like, I think that is probably most people that are over there's goal with the entire thing, which is good. I think that's a good thing.
No, I think it's good. It's interesting because golf has always just been golf, and we love it for what it is, and it's an individual sport. And I wonder if they crunch the numbers and they're like, we've maxed out how much money this sport can make in this format, and like, I just wish it didn't come with such a fucking bullshit backing and like a horrific background and all these people have this money, because I genuinely think like these really smart people got together and they're like, yeah, this model that we're about to do, I think possibly makes more money than the current one. And like, we could get it to another level. Now, and I did watch, like, it was confusing, the team format, but like maybe in 10 years, like when you go, like you look back and if it did work and it wasn't Saudi backed, like maybe like the Crushers and the Aces like become like the NBA teams. And it's a crazy thing to say because we're in it. It's been 1 week. But like, who knows? Like if it ever took off, if it was the Bill Gates fucking backed league, like imagine where golf would go if it was this like fall series of team thing and like it made all that advertising money. And I don't know. It's interesting to think about like where golf could have went if it wasn't attached to such a bad regime and all dirty money. It's really interesting to me.
I personally think you're giving them too much credit, and going back to, like, I don't think a league like this can exist without an unlimited checkbook, and you're going to have pitfalls when it comes with that. Like, I don't think this
But it
fantastic...
could. Like, so you have a number of, like, if they invested a certain amount, it's, like, kosher?
But I don't
I don't understand that difference. I don't
think you get enough money to actually get real talent over there.
Right. So I think that's why they had to spend that much to get talent and names over there.
But the reason they have that money is negative.
Right. No, I see that. I know what you're saying.
All I'm saying is like this utopia league that we're describing only comes about with an unlimited checkbook.
It's not. It's unlimited, but like, is it though? Like, I know it's big numbers, but like to start a league, and then my questioning of it, like, do they have good intentions of like trying to build it to billions and billions in revenue? Even though we all think that that's not going to happen, maybe in their weird, like messed up minds, they think that they're going to succeed. Is $1 billion spent or $2 billion spent on a brand new league that they think maybe one day will be worth $20 billion? Is that the worst decision of all time? I don't know. Like, we're acting like that's so much money. Like, it's really not that much when you think about where the world is right now. It's like,
I just think
basketball players, 6 mans are making $45 million a year. I mean, we've just jumped the ship on just like what money is.
I just think that, like, if you came up with this business plan, if somebody came up with this business plan and presented it to actual businessmen with a lot of money, I don't know if you're going to get the backing that you want. Maybe there's going to be a few rogue guys who are like, yeah, I'll throw my dick on the table. Let's fucking build this thing for 20 years. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if you're going to get the right or the amount of funding that you need. But the funding where this comes from, they just turn the spigot on and it just flows. Yeah. So that's what makes it possible.
And I'm looking at the other side of this, like, just for all the questions that I've had in the back of my head of, like, where do you think they're coming from? Why are they doing it? And I don't want it to get lost. Like, I'm completely in agreement that all of these guys that are currently on this in this league and on this tour, like the Brooks Koepkas, the Phil Mickelsons, are doing it just for the selfish reason to make as much money as they possibly can, which we've also argued, like, at some point there is a number that, like, I would take, and, like, Riggs is like, that is another part. That's, like, a human part where they're just like, I have to do it. But I don't want it to get lost on anyone that, like, I don't think that Brooks Koepka genuinely is trying to change the game of golf by just taking that check. I do think that the intentions of creating a new league probably were to change golf for the better. I would hope that at some point all those people that, like we said, work from the PGA Tour and Golf Channel and agents and fucking caddies and all these stuff, like they all got together and they're like, how do we change it? I would hope that they fucking tried to make as much money and make a bigger product than there currently is, or else that makes no sense. Like, why would, like,
Dude, and you know, and to that point, like what I heard from over there was like the caddies have never been treated better than they were at the London event. They had like every night, I think that the Live put like a $2,000 open bar for all the caddies, like every night. And so, yeah, they're like, again, that comes from having like a ton of money, but that's not that much money. I mean, the PGA Tour just threw you a couple of trying to make it like better for everyone involved. But I don't think, right, like that decision doesn't come from MBS, who also ordered the execution of like Jamal Khashoggi, right? That comes from someone hired by Greg Norman's guy who hired this guy who is like, how can we make this the coolest event for caddies? And that's what that person's doing. And I think that that person's intention is to make it as cool as it can be. And I think there's a lot of people there who do have those intentions. But like Trent said, it just makes it taints the entire thing when the overall goal of the operation does not appear to be to make money and to create a viable business. It appears to be for other intentions, which we all suspect is to cleanse Saudi Arabia's image around the world so that they can do bigger deals in other countries and make it seem like they're pretty normal over there while they continue to do horrific shit to people. That's what it appears to be. Truly Hard Seltzer. They've been the title sponsor of the Barstool Classic all 4 years. We very much appreciate them for that. Truly is a clean, crisp, refreshing hard seltzer with a hint of fruit. There's over 30 flavors, so there's something for everyone. All cans have under 110 calories, 1 gram of sugar, and naturally gluten-free. Wild berry's been my favorite for a long time, but they got over 30 flavors now, so it's hard not to find several that you're going to be obsessed with. You can find Truly near you at trulyhardseltzer.com. That's trulyhardseltzer.com. They love to sponsor from the gallery. We did have a question from Chris that asked, at the end, Collin Morikawa said he had some cereal to pour in his milk and asked, is that a crazy move? We actually debate that clearly on this show and went through the entire thing. So we thank Chris for the question. Luckily, it came up naturally, so we didn't even have to do the whole thing. But if we did, Truly would be the ones that are bringing from the gallery to you. It's kind of a running bit at this point that we just never really do from the gallery, even though we always have a lot to do. We do them occasionally, but Truly Hard Seltzer, big thanks to them. People love it all over the country. They love it at the Barstool Classic. I've got a bunch here at the house. I was drinking a few last night with some of my squad, and it's just as good as it gets. So go trulyhardseltzer.com, find Truly near you. Collin Morikawa. So Morikawa, for whatever reason, who knows why, was being tied to Brooks Koepka basically with the LIV Golf news yesterday. He tweeted out among all the chaos as a lot of this was going on. Just your number 11 money winner on PIP here to say good morning to everyone. Last week at my press conference, I said the media loves creating drama. Sure enough, I woke up this morning to everyone thinking I'm next. Not to say I told you so, but I told you so. To state for the record, once again, you all are absolutely wrong. I've said it since February at Riviera that I'm here to stay on the PGA Tour, and nothing has changed. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some cereal to pour in my milk, which he is pretty infamous for at this point, maybe being the only person in the world who pours his milk first and then puts cereal into the milk.
That last part makes me want to just go over there, dude. Just go. The cereal thing is too much for me.
It's a wild move. I don't know. It'd be almost like if somebody poured all of the drink into a glass and then put the ice in afterwards. Like we've been doing it a different, better way forever. Why would
you also don't know how much milk you need until you see how much cereal you can fit in the bowl. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think he's limiting his amount of cereal he can have in the bowl because he's now guessing based off how much milk he's going to put. You're running the risk of putting too much milk by putting it in first. You want to maximize the amount of cereal in the bowl and then just wet it with milk. You understand what I'm saying?
Totally. I'm with you.
The milk has to just fit with however much fucking cereal you can pack into that little bowl.
Right, because when I pour cereal into a bowl, I put as much as I can in there, and then I slowly start to put the milk in, and then as soon as it gets to the point where I'm about to have cereal all over my kitchen, I stop.
And then Morikawa can't do that because he's already putting the milk in. You have no idea what the levels, like the level of the milk's going to rise as you put the cereal in. I need to talk to this guy about this. We should have Collin Morikawa and not talk about golf for 1 second. Just talk about cereal.
He is prioritizing milk over cereal, and you just can't do that.
Right.
That's it.
That's a miss.
It's a miss.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. But anyways, Morikawa, nice to see he squashed those rumors, and that's it.
I have a question. How much of what Jay Monahan just in that, or like the rumors of what they're going to be doing, the PGA Tour, how much of that was Morikawa maybe going over to LIV? Like, how much did that coincide with their decision or his decision? Do you think like he kind of floated the rumor, or one of his agents were like, if you guys don't fix something right now, you're losing your number one young star like ever?
Maybe, but he's just the wrong guy.
I know
he's a legacy guy. So he's a big time legacy guy. And sure, maybe
what are your thoughts behind closed doors? Do you think that someone in Morikawa's group like floated that idea? That's how the rumor got out there. And then Monahan was like, we have to put an end to this today or else we're going to lose Collin Morikawa. What do you think?
I'd say very little, but if him and his people are smart businessmen, they did that just as a thing to do. But I don't think there was any chance of Collin Morikawa jumping ship ever.
Because I think that would be stupid if they did. I think it's stupid if someone from his team didn't do that, because like
that's
if he had no intention to actually go, you might as well just like try and make the actual tour you're going to be on make as much money as possible. You know what I mean? I mean, he had every single chip on his side of the table, and he could just go all in on them, and they can't call anything. I mean, he's got.
Yeah, but I would say like I would guess the tours had this in the works for months. Right? Like you can't just have 8 new events with $20 million at each one, like because you heard a rumor yesterday. It's like, I think.
We heard the rumor, but I'm just saying like how long were these? I mean, and it's not just Collin Morikawa. Like when you see all these names jumping over, like you got to think that a lot of guys on tour were starting to ask questions and be like, I mean, why not us then? Like, what are you going to do for us? And he had to just,
definitely.
That's be smart.
I think they use that as leverage for sure.
Yeah, Phil Mickelson ruined his reputation over it, but Morikawa is more him specifically, like him and Rory and a guy like JT. I don't think there's ever any actual thought about going over there, but if they and their people want to use it to try to make more money, I think that's something that is definitely going on.
Phil Mickelson was the PGA Tour's like sacrificial lamb. And I mean, at some point they're going to have to like behind closed doors toast to Phil, like all the players of like what he started for them. They're going to make a guy like Patrick Cantlay may make like $60 million in a season if he gets hot or something. Like if that guy doesn't call Phil Mickelson and be like, dude, I know you're like half dead right now, but thanks. Like, I mean, like I didn't have to take the bullet. You did. And I get to make a ton of money and everyone loves me. They call me No Hat Pat when I play in the Ryder Cup. Like it's fucking sick. And like, I didn't have to do anything, just win tournaments. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it.
I think Phil would kill for that legacy right now.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, he's clinging to any legacy.
But he had to take a bullet. Someone took a bullet for the fucking PGA Tour, and it was Phil Mickelson. That storyline cannot go untold. It can't. It's a thing that happened. Did it not?
Read the Shipnuck book. That's what he talks about.
Yeah.
He did. I mean, he's gotten a lot of what he wanted. He's not around for it.
He's an asshole, and he answered questions horrifically, and he is slimy, but he's amazing at what he accomplished.
For other people.
Yeah. It's pretty selfless. For a guy that made $200 million.
No, that wasn't his intention. That's the issue. His intention was to make the money himself. He's probably like, what the fuck? You got to be shitting.
True.
Now they're doing it, and I'm just over here. I'm the worst guy in the world.
He fucked himself so bad.
$200 million, though. Nick Faldo out, Trevor Immelman in as the lead analyst commentator next to Jim Nantz. So at the end of this, I think the Wyndham Championship will be, that's it. Sir Nick Faldo's contract was up. The way that they released the whole thing and the way that the narrative is being put out publicly, who knows if this is true or not, but that Nick Faldo's contract was up. CBS expected to just renew it. Sir Nick said to them, I'm done. I'm going to retire. He's mid-60s, whatever he is. And so then they started the hunt, and they grabbed Trevor Immelman, friend of the program, to fill the role. So he's only in his mid-40s, I guess Trevor Immelman is. So he could presumably for 20 or 30 years, if everything goes well, be in the booth for CBS, for the Masters. He'll be the 18th tower next to Jim Nantz for many, many years. Just an iconic role in the world of golf for our friend Trevor Immelman. It's fucking great.
Yep. Congratulations to Trevor. No one deserves anything more than that guy. He's got the greatest voice in golf. He is just so soothing, good-looking dude, nicest guy, nicest family. The fact that he's going to be in that tower with Nance and, yeah, like you said, for 30, 40 years is going to be insane. I mean, he's just a guy that accomplishes a lot of cool things in his life. It's just, I texted that to him yesterday. I'm like, just another amazing accomplishment in your life. Like, the guy won the Masters and now he's just a lead analyst in the sport that he dominated. You know what I mean? It's really cool.
He won the Masters, got an incredible wife. His wife's cool as hell. His kids are great. He's got one of the sweetest houses I've ever been in. He won the Masters. Again, we can just keep saying he won the Masters. Made millions playing professional golf. And now he's just
President's Cup captain
of the President's Cup. And now he's just got one of the best jobs in golf. Maybe the best job in golf.
And everyone's going to love him. Everyone's going to love him because he's just like calm, cool, and collected, has such good input, and he knows all the guys so well. I will miss Faldo. I think he was a pretty funny character up in the booth. He's
a character, but unintentional.
Totally unintentional. I do think they should do a going away party for him with Imagine Dragons. That would be quite funny.
It'll be good. Immelman will be good. Faldo, you just never knew what you were going to get with him, but I'm excited.
The program, Nick Faldo. He wears a Borelli's t-shirt when he cooks Italian food with his wife. So, I mean, I think
him and Riggs have a little bit of a rivalry, though.
Oh, yeah. But I think it's a funny one, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with that. He just would,
hates
shit on the Daily Nine. Yeah, he just would shit on the Daily Nine, which at the end of the day was great for the Daily Nine because it would just get it a lot more action, a lot more views.
Faldo's also the kind of guy that couldn't understand why we were successful. He's
no clue.
He's doesn't understand why people watch bad golf, and would genuinely you'd think it would come off sarcastic when he'd be like, Riggs, who watches this? And he genuinely was thinking who watches a foreplay video of you guys playing a pro? He didn't get it. He doesn't understand.
Dude, and then one point he was he would bitch about the ads. He'd be like,
yeah,
I'm trying to watch the Daily Nine. He's doing an ad. And then we'd all be like, everybody can't watch CBS coverage without ads. And then he's in a Skechers commercial. So we'd be going back and forth. He's like, no, but I won 6 majors. Of course I'm in ads.
Right, exactly.
Who the fuck are you?
Replaced by a guy who legitimately might on a broadcast one day just be like, I love Riggs, Frankie, and Trent.
Trevor, yeah.
The guy who totally gets it and is plugged in and understands that side of it and the professional side of it. So Immelman's going to be great. I cannot wait to listen.
We are going to have to get some little things that Immelman's gonna have to say hi to us on the broadcast or something. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to tell him to say something and see if he actually does it. Almost like when Biz will say something on TNT for the Spit and Chicklets crew. We need Immelman to say something that we're all gonna go crazy over.
Definitely.
It's wild. We're gonna have such a friendly and such a powerful position in the world of golf. And if he 2 or 3 years from now, if he crushes it and solidifies himself as this, he will be a top 2 or 3 voice in the world of golf.
Yeah, right.
He's just our guy. I also was thinking, this is what winning the Masters gets you. I love, Trevor's obviously amazing. We talk about it a lot, his voice, but if he doesn't win the Masters, he doesn't get this role for the next 30 years that is maybe the best role in the world of golf. It's just, they just get to introduce him as Masters champion. Oh, Jim Nantz would be I'd like to welcome my friend and 2008 Masters champion. Everyone's like, ooh.
I think you're right.
Champion. It's fucking awesome. That's why you win the Masters. That's why you want to win the Masters. And then the women, so the women's PGA, KPMG PGA is this week at Congressional, which has a completely different look. I'm trying to figure this whole thing out, but Rory won at Congressional in 2011. And then they came in, and apparently it's just a whole new golf course. I mean, the way they're talking about it, it's everything about it is new. The holes are new, the greens are new. It's just completely new golf course. So I'm excited to watch that. I saw Nelly Korda's interview yesterday. She was talking about some like blind shots, and the place is crazy but really awesome. So if you didn't know that was going on, we got major championship in the women's game. You can tune into that. I was laughing at MB Park was doing an interview yesterday, and she was on the set with the whole crew on Golf Channel. They had all women on there, which was really cool, obviously, for a women's major. And I was watching Golf Channel all day because that's what I do. And I heard her talking about her putting because MB Parks won fucking a bunch of majors and was best player in the world. And she was just like, yeah, it was great when I was winning all those majors. I was putting it so good, and I'll obviously like never be able to putt like that ever again. And they were just like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, my stroke's the same, my rhythm's the same, but they just will never go in like that. And they're all like, well, putting, I feel like putting, whether you're 5 years old or whether you're 80 years old, like it's the one thing that you can everybody can just kind of do the same. She's like, no, my putting will never be that good again. That was amazing. And they just kind of kept pressing her, being like, what? Like, why not? Like, why don't you just putt? Like, it's just putting. You can't just putt. She's like, no. It'll just never be that good again.
That's how hard.
Amazing.
That's how hard golf is. Where
crazy.
One of the best in the world, so accomplished, it just goes, and to probably a pretty small degree. But that degree is what allows you to win major tournaments, and then it just goes. And she seems like she's accepted it, that it's just never going to be at that level again.
I just found that fascinating. I love that. So tune in. And Nellie's back. She's out there. She lost in a playoff last week after having the blood clot and missing a bunch of the earlier part of the year. She maybe has the best golf swing in the world. Like, if there's one swing that I watch where I'm just like, that's how you're supposed to do it, it's Nelly Korda's swing is fucking insane. So, anyways, women's PGA, KPMG, go check that out this weekend. Throw on the television, watch that puppy. And then Augusta National, it appears that they're changing the 13th hole. This is one, that's been talked about forever. Probably most people's favorite hole to watch in the world. It's beautiful. It's par 5, wraps around the left, the beginning or the end of Amen Corner. It's only like 510 yards or something, which the reason I say it's only 510 is because the 11th hole is longer and it's a par 4. They had a few different par 4s this week or last week at the U.S. Open that were, they were 520, 530 par 4s. So long story short, the 13th now, a lot of guys can get there by just hitting a 3-wood and then like a mid or short iron. There's been discussion forever. Should they lengthen it? Some say yes, some say no. It's exciting. Yes, you want that risk reward. But right now it's almost so easy for guys that like they probably should do something. And it looks like they are. There's this Eureka whatever that does they do the shots from the aerial shots. Posted that it looks like they're redoing the tee and moving the tee back 30, 40, 50 yards, something like that. And then they're probably doing irrigation or something in the fairway. But a little bit of news in the golf world. Looks like they're changing the 13th hole at Augusta National.
Is that back up to Augusta Country Club? Is that?
Yep.
They're gonna
That's the one they bought. They bought a bunch of it.
That's right.
They bought the 9th hole or something for an undisclosed, outrageous amount of money.
Yeah. Oh my God. That deal had to be, because you can just, if you're Augusta Country Club, just be like, blank check, because they want to lengthen that hole. Yeah. And you kind of have them over the barrel nobody has Augusta National over the barrel except for the people who own land around Augusta National.
And we were finding out when we were down there this year, like Augusta Country Club's like the best country club around aside from Augusta
awesome.
National. Like, everyone loves it. The membership there is insane. So the fact that they're getting that much money just for one hole, they're probably like fucking living.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's huge for the club. They got it's apparently a big country club, like pool, tennis, the whole deal. Mm-hmm. Our boy Tommy was telling us all about how sweet it is. So, yeah, I mean, tens of millions of dollars they probably got to sell off like fucking 100 yards of.
So
sure,
crazy. And Augusta's like, yeah, we'll do that. Done.
Sure. I mean, they make that one day in the merch tent. I don't give a fuck. Women's golf line, ladies and gentlemen. This has been. We've been asked many times to do this. We, believe it or not, have female listeners, and women are getting much bigger in golf, just a fact. I actually heard of from retailers at Golf Galaxies and the PGA Tour Superstores and all that the percentage in terms of breakdown of merchandise that's sold there by gender, by male, female, that the women has like doubled or tripled over the last few years because women are just getting a lot more into the game. Clearly, we don't have a ton of women's merchandise on the Barstool Golf side because our show is 3 or 4 dudes who don't really understand that. So worked with our merch team, Allison, Pilar, Alex, females, worked with them, put out surveys, asked a ton of different women in the golf world what they like, what kind of styles, what should we focus on, what do you need, what sucks, what's good, and came out with a women's line that hopefully will appease females in the golf world who enjoy what we do and want to rep the brand. Bottom line, we got a new women's golf line that is out. We got a full zip, quarter zip golf tops, dress, skirt, windbreaker, visor, bucket hats, all kinds of good stuff. You can go to store.barstoolsports.com. You can also go check it out at the PGA Tour Superstore. But boys, we have a women's golf line out now, and it's fantastic.
It's an amazing line. The whole team crushed it, from the design to the colors to just everything. The promotion was great. I think we knocked it out of the park. I got a lot of DMs. I got a couple of the Islanders' wives were like writing like yes, and they bought like the windbreaker one is so good that I actually got a couple DMs being like, hey, can we kind of make this like, you know, like both men and women can wear this, because I kind of want to just wear this like unisex. They nailed it. Go to Barstool Women's Collection in the Barstool Store. It's amazing, and you know, we're just going to start really hammering that stuff out. We've got women that listen to the show now. I mean, that's just a fact that we have to just accept, that women like the show and they like to golf. And you know, it's not and I have to maybe watch my tone and the way I speak now, because I have a broader, more, you know, it's a different audience that we're seeing. So it makes I have to be on my game. You know what I mean? It's not just fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry listening to this thing anymore. We got a lot of people listening to this thing. And we're selling a lot of merch. It's good. I like it. I fucking like the women's line.
Go check out the women's line at store.barstoolsports.com. We got a lot of cool stuff in there that is so good that a lot of guys are reaching out being like, how come are you making this for us? So go check out the women's line, store.barstoolsports.com.
I played golf with Whitney yesterday, which was pretty cool.
How was that?
And I played with Francis. It was quite the duo. If you think back to my history of Barstool Sports,
interesting crew.
I've had quite the rivalry with Whitney, and then Francis famously used to just write how he'd like to have sex with me all the time, and all these ridiculous blogs on Barstool. It was a very enjoyable round. Bayonne Golf Club, as we know, is the craziest place ever. I mean, it's not to be believed how good that golf course is. The range, you're hitting balls into the ocean, into the river.
You might have put up the best golf picture on your Instagram story,
dude. It's from crazy. Bayonne. It's crazy how good that place is.
You're a good picture taker, but that one you really showed out for that.
That was a shocking picture.
Yeah, and dude, we played good golf. Like I don't think anyone hit a bad shot all day. I think I might have hit 14 greens in regulation. I shot a 85 and I 4-putt like 3 times. Like I probably should have shot.
How the fuck did you shoot 85?
Dude, through 4 holes, I had 12 putts.
Yikes.
So it was just bogey.
Like
but like that, all right, so yes, it's yikes, but it's also such a more enjoyable round of golf to play that way. Like I know putting sucks, and I should have shot in like the high 70s or low 80s. And Whitney was like stunned at how my game was. Like I was just playing well. But like I'll take that game all day long, hitting good drives, fucking hitting iron shots right over pins, and just like hitting greens. Like you're just playing golf. Like, yeah, you can't get the ball in the hole, and it's like a joke once you're on the green, but like that's like 2 minutes worth of like, I just can't get it in the hole. The rest of the day, you're just hitting athletically good shots. Come on. I'll take that all day. I'll clean up the putting at some point. It's frustrating, but fuck.
Bayonne's insane. It's like a fake life place.
It's actually insane.
Yeah. Take the ferry over?
I did not. We had like a 7 a.m. tee time before work. So like I just drove through Staten Island from Long Island, came up. But dude, even the drive up to the clubhouse is nuts. It's not a real place. I put it up with no location tag on Instagram at first, and everyone thought we were in Scotland already.
Look at that. I could see that. Yeah, that makes sense. It looks like Scotland. I mean, yeah. It's a wild like dichotomy, that place versus the New Jersey. Like there's the ships and all the that, and then you just have this place that looks like Scotland. It's fucking, the clubhouse too is insane.
It's insane. And yeah, and like there's all these like cool things like the water like erodes or like the story behind it's amazing. Like the water was like eroding that area. So like they would always like dig up a lot of sand to like not have the water take away a lot of the land. And then like the guy who just bought it was like, hey, can I just take all this sand you guys are taking out from the water and just like build a golf course there? Like it's just like marshy dump area. And he just built maybe the best golf course I've ever seen on like a dump or like a swamp area right outside of New York City. It's nuts. So yeah, really cool. But Matthew Fitzpatrick, even cooler.
I got something. We got our first guy playing in a Corn Ferry Tour event, Alistair Doherty, who is playing this weekend, who's going to be wearing Barstool golf gear.
Holy shit.
Buddy of mine caddied all winter at Silverleaf out in Arizona. Got to know him there through Hanky Panky, actually. Awesome dude. He had played he made it, qualified for a PGA Tour event last year, a couple years ago. Had like some conditional status, trying to grind and make it. Really, really good player. And then he Monday qualified last week for the Wichita event and finished tied for 23rd. Okay. I think he shot like 12 under. And so that got him into this week's event, I think, in Portland, Maine. And he had been kind of talking with me about like, dude, I would wear your guys' stuff. Like if you so we sent him some stuff, sent him some gear, and he's gonna be rocking our gear now and going forward. So
holy shit.
Fuck yeah.
Alistair, our guy, go check him out. Corn Ferry Tour event in Portland, Maine. Again, he finished fucking T23, I think, last week. Got him, made like $4, $5, $6 grand, which is huge for him. And then that I think if you finish top 25, you get into the next week's event. So he then like booked a flight and was trying to find like a host family and doing the whole grind. And was like, I would love like some gear. So we sent him a bunch of gear. He's gonna be rocking our stuff going forward. So root for Alistair if you get the chance.
Hell yeah.
And you check him out. He's our guy.
Love that.
I told him take a bunch of pictures and like we'll just have pictures of a guy wearing our fucking merch. I sent him some Peter Millar stuff, some Unreal stuff, some Robacks that I just sent him a mix of everything.
Perfect.
Fuck yeah.
I love it.
So
imagine
let's
he
go,
wins.
Alistair. Oh my god, dude! Then he's on the PGA Tour. He's wearing our shit.
Insane.
We're gonna make this guy the most famous Corn Ferry player you've ever seen.
Oh, big time. So yeah, he's gonna send me some pics. I'm texting him right now. He just texted me that like his caddy's running back to the house to see if the package arrived with all of our gear because Pilar and Allison and they all hooked it up and made sure we could get gear to him as fast as possible. So I've been like looking at the tracking and checking. So anyway, Alistair, have a great week.